Hey everyone, today I want to share something more personal with you. My journey from being a burnt out tech executive to achieving financial freedom and actually living life on my own terms. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I've only now worked through my own fears of money, and I'm now able to share my story with you all. If you feel trapped by your job, even if you make a lot or if you make a little, this might be the video for you, so stick around. Welcome back everyone, Rico here. This video has been a long time coming, and I hope that this content finds the right people at the right time, especially at a time like this. And I'm gonna be transparent with you, so here goes. I was making $750,000 in base salary at Netflix. And I'm not sharing this to brag, I'm sharing this because I want you to understand what I thought my time was worth. Think about that for a moment. That's what I was paid to give up 1/3 of my life, to miss parts of my children growing up, to sacrifice my mental health, for Netflix to own my talents and brain power. We spend roughly 90,000 hours of our lives working. And on your deathbed, will you say that you wish you worked more? Or are there other things you want to do? The reality of my life was crazy. Weekly flights between San Jose and LA, 2 weeks every quarter in our international offices, endless video calls across time zones. I mean, the travel was cool. It was glamorous at first, right? Business class flights, super nice hotels, expense accounts, credit card points. It was great, but at what cost? I was missing my daughter's first steps, my son's first words. And many of those firsts were over video chat. But the pandemic forced me to stop traveling. But by then, my daughter was already 5 and my son was already 2. In those precious early years, I definitely missed out on some of those things, and I didn't want to miss anything else. This is when and why I asked if it was worth it all. My journey to financial independence started in 2017, 2 years after my daughter was born. And I did what I knew. It was real estate investing. It was the only path I was familiar with because that's what my parents did until they lost their properties because of the great financial crisis of 2008. And while I had property managers handling the day-to-day, the reality wasn't as passive as I'd hoped. Maintenance and repairs constantly ate into my profits, sometimes taking them all. And I knew there had to be a better way. And I was trying my hardest every day to figure what that would be. From side hustles, I did it all. I did everything. I'm a serial entrepreneur, tons of different businesses. But then, in 2020, I discovered something that would change everything. Dividend stocks and covered call ETFs. And I'd heard about stocks, but always thought it was like gambling. That's what everybody said. The stock market's like gambling. But I started to learn. So let me break down my strategy. And it's not like gambling if you do it right. Treat it like a business like everything else. First, let's talk about the high yield dividend stocks. So for these, I focus on REITs and BDCs with at least a 6% dividend yield. I look for consistent dividend growth histories and strong fundamentals and cash flow. And lastly, look for solid growth potential. And secondly, covered call ETFs. With these, I target around an 8 to 12% yield range. These ETFs are monthly income generators, and I like ones like SPYI, JEPQ, and QQQI. And then I also have a mix of synthetic covered calls, which I actively manage pretty much every day. And then I strategically allocate my dividends, 1/3 reinvested, 1/3 for taxes, and 1/3 to live off of. And let me now show you the power of starting early, because I started late, and more importantly, the huge impact of reinvesting your dividends. I'll break down 2 scenarios for you for each investment, showing you both with and without dividend reinvestment. So example 1, let's look at individual stocks. And for this example, I'm going to use Energy Transfer, ticker symbol ET, and we're going to make some assumptions. So the starting dividend yield, this is what it is today at the time of this recording, is 6.52%. So we're going to assume conservatively there's a 3% per year dividend increase and a 3% per year stock price increase. Okay, so that's conservative. Stock market varies anywhere between 6 to 10% even after down years in overall returns. So this first scenario, $500 a month investment with your dividends taken as income. After 20 years, you'd have a total investment of $120,000 and a portfolio value of $166,000. And you'll have an annual dividend income of about $18,900. And that's $500 a month if you're taking the dividends as income. Next, $500 a month if you reinvest your dividends. So after 20 years here, your total investment will be the same, $120,000, but your portfolio value will be over $519,000. and your annual dividend income will be $53,255. Talk about a snowball. Okay, now let's do it with $1,000 a month. With dividends taken out after 20 years, you'll invest $240,000, but your portfolio will be worth $332,000, and your dividend income will be almost $38,000 a year. Okay, and then if you reinvested those with $1,000 a month, after 20 years, you would have invested the same $240,000, but your portfolio will be worth $1 million, over $1 million, and you'd have over $100,000 in annual dividend income. So crazy. If you just did that for 20 years, you could retire. You'd be making $100,000 a year off of $500 a month or $1,000 a month. All right, now example 2, if we did this with a covered call ETF, we're going to use QQQI. And we're going to do the same assumptions here. Starting dividend yield is going to be 11.8%. Dividend growth of 3% per year and stock price growth of 3% per year. So pretty conservative numbers. So with the same scenario, if you invested $500 a month and you kept the dividends as income, after 20 years, just like ET, you would have a total investment of $120,000. Your portfolio value would be at $166,000, and your annual dividend income would be around $35,000 a year. Now, if you reinvested your dividends and still contributed $500 a month after 20 years, again, same $120,000 investment, but your portfolio value would be $1.3 million, and you'd have a dividend income of over $200,000. Can you think about that? Over $233,000. Could you retire on that? And remember, with dividends, you don't sell any stock. This is just distributions. And now let's look at $1,000 per month with dividends taken out. After 20 years, your total investment will be $240,000, and your portfolio value will be roughly $330,000. And then you'll have an annual dividend income of $68,720. Okay, that same $1,000 contributed per month with your dividends reinvested. So it's going to be $240,000 total investment, but your portfolio value now a whopping $2.7 million, and your annual dividend income $466,000. This is just scenarios to get you thinking and understand the power of compounding in action. So if you look at that, taking that investment from ET or QQQI, over 20 years, you can replace your income in dividends. And with dividends, like I said earlier, they're distributions. They're paid no matter what. You don't have to sell stock. That 4% rule, that's old news. Selling 4% of your portfolio and living off of that. I'd much rather never sell stock and just continue to take distributions. So this is why I reinvest 1/3 of my distributions, even now when I'm living off of my dividends, because compounding is the cheat code. So you got to learn from my mistakes. Invest early, let your dividends grow, and reinvest whenever possible. Now, these aren't just numbers on a screen. This is the kind of freedom I wish I had discovered earlier. Today, I'm able to truly live according to my values, family, impact, freedom, and I spend my days mentoring, coaching, and volunteering. I'm present for every family dinner, every school event, every weekend adventure. And yes, we still enjoy life, but now I'm actually here for it. Not constantly thinking about the next meeting or deadline, and maybe most importantly, no more Monday scaries. I'm not at the beginning of my vacation thinking about when I have to go back to work. So the move from the Bay Area to Las Vegas, it was not easy, but it was more than just about the cost of living. Though cutting our expenses by 60 to 70% did help for sure, but it was about choosing lives that aligned with our values. It was about saying no to the rat race and yes to family time, personal growth, and lasting impact. And if you're watching this and thinking, I need to know more, I've got you covered. Subscribe to this channel where I share everything. My investment portfolio, monthly income reports, entry and exit strategies, tax optimization techniques. I even throw in some career and leadership tips here and there. You'll get it all. And if my story resonates with you, you don't have any more time to waste. I saw this quote the other day and I love it. It said, "Today is the youngest you will ever be." And it's so true. How do you want to live your life? What matters most to you? And how can you do more of that? And you don't have to quit your job, but having the freedom to choose, that to me is priceless. And if you don't know what to do next, or you just want to learn more, I'm here for you. Hit me up if you're even curious about making a change or starting to invest in your retirement and your future. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Thanks for watching and hearing my story. I'll see you next time. Peace.